My 8-year-old just got kicked out of farm camp. It is the only camp he has done okay at, but the staff is different this year and he had a rough couple days and he's out. Sounds like forever. He didn't suddenly become a different kid and no longer is good enough to be at farm camp. The staff changed. So the new people are the people he can't trust. The new people are the ones who had the issues. That's not his fault. Hello, welcome to the Trauma-Informed SLP. I am Kim Neely. I'm a licensed speech-language pathologist. That's what the SLP stands for. Here in the United States. And on this channel, I like to use my special interests of trauma-informed care, my clinical experience, my clinical training, my graduate school stuff, neuroscience stuff, and my own personal experience as a late diagnosed neurodivergent and queer person to unpack things. And on today, I don't have a whole lot of time, and hopefully I make it before my computer battery dies. That's the goal here. But I saw this thing on autism parenting on the subreddit, our autism parenting, that brought up something that I want to do a longer video on. And I'm still like, the idea is still kind of muddy enough that I'm not exactly sure what like the central theme of the video will be. Like, I haven't really hooked into that yet, but this is just one of those things that broke my heart because it just was so relatable. So Rostaki, I don't know, says, my heart is breaking. I feel so sad. My 8-year-old just got kicked out of farm camp. It is the only camp he has done okay at, but the staff is different this year and he had a rough couple days and he's out. Sounds like forever. He has been looking forward to this camp all summer. I am so tired of grieving. He has to try so hard and almost makes it, but ultimately they just don't have the patience or tolerance to see him past the transition turbulence. It breaks my heart. I feel so much guilt for putting him in the position to fail. It feels cruel to root for him, pep talk him, threaten and bribe. I wish there was a lower standard camp that he could be successful at. His self-confidence goes down every time he has counselors that are kind and caring to his face, but ultimately at the end of the day telling us he got his third strike 4 hours earlier and he's no longer welcome in the program. Just sad. I've let my boy down and I can't help him. He's going to be anxious and depressed his whole life and there's nothing I can do to take that burden from him. Yeah, it's so awful. I feel like I'm being punished. I can't even imagine how much it hurts him if it hurts me this much. It hurts a lot. Yeah, it feels so cruel. How do you give up hope for your child's future / happiness without giving up on them? He does better every year, but the expectations get higher every year, and so he will never reach them. Yep. Thanks for listening, guys. I don't have anyone in my life who can relate. I'm so tired of being ashamed of my child. Oh, no, you don't have to be so ashamed. Be ashamed of society. Society's the shameful thing here, not him. I remember when he was 2 and he was the light of my life. I was so proud. I feel like I fell into the twilight zone and I've never been able to feel anything but this grief. And this comment is like, it breaks my heart. It's relatable in the sense of constant social rejection that I experienced as a kid, but it's definitely relatable being in the education system in the United States when I worked in schools, and just being a clinician who works with children, with autistic children, and seeing this kind of stuff happen. And honestly, it continues throughout your life, right? It's followed me into professional life where it's like, it just takes the change of one manager and suddenly your awesome workplace has become toxic, you know, or you get pushed out or you get asked to leave, i.e. fired, but like you're asked to resign or something, right? Like you could be doing everything really well and everybody really loves you, but if one person has it out for you and they have enough power and the ear of the or the ears of the people in power, you're out, right? Like it happens so often, and I hate it. The grieving, the transitions. I mean, I did that whole life transition video a bit ago, kind of on a similar idea where it's like, we have to grieve so often. We have to get used to change and grief, change and grief, change and grief, because it happens so much. And maybe that's why we don't like change that much in our everyday to day lives, because we have to deal with really big changes and we have to become like professionals at grieving much earlier on in life than most people, you know? And, at least us more non-apparent and late diagnosed folks, right? But for this kid, it's like, I saw this so often where it's like this kid is doing great and doing amazing, and then they go, like the preschooler's doing amazing, and then they go to kindergarten. And then it's like the staff are totally different, or they're doing amazing and they're doing great, but then suddenly there's a change of staff for the next year and they're their favorite like support staff is gone, and the one who's in their place is really like punitive and like really into like punishing for things, and like is really into compliance based, like this kid needs to learn how to behave right or whatever. And suddenly the kid's not doing well because they're super dysregulated all day. You know what I mean? And it is so hard to see. And of course there's grief that comes along with that with a parent, because you're seeing your kid face these struggles of being chronically misunderstood and quite frankly mistreated, right? Not that these people mean to be mistreating, but they are, because probably, just my guess off the top of my noggin, the guess is the staff that changed, the new staff probably expect a lot more compliance. They're probably a lot less forgiving. Maybe they give him fewer breaks for sensory overwhelm or something. Maybe they're just overall less compassionate and less empathetic. Maybe they're not paying attention to his body language as well, and therefore not anticipating his needs as well as they used to, right? And it's just so awful. And, part of this is it's a camp. So like, how much training did the staff really get? I don't know if this is a camp. It's a farm camp. I don't know if it's for autistic specifically or not, but that could be part of the problem. Maybe they got more training in like some sort of like a applied behavioral analysis or something, or tokens, reinforcers, whatever. And now they're doing that for all the kids, and that's just not working. It doesn't really work very well long term anyway. That stuff does not generalize well. And there's a lot of autistics that don't respond well to it, in my opinion. When they start responding well, it's when they've just given up fighting about it, which is not the best, in my opinion. And yeah, it does develop some level of like anxiety or depression, I suppose, like the anxious, depressed his whole life thing. It's traumatic, quite frankly. It's traumatic. It's traumatic looking forward to a thing that you love so much and that was your favorite thing, and then having that favorite thing, it feels like a betrayal. You're just constantly betrayed by the things you love. You're constantly betrayed by people you trust, it seems like, or by places you used to love that suddenly become places that, oh, now I'm receiving the same crappy treatment I get at these other places that I hate going to, right? Like you're betrayed a lot. And I think it's societal stigma. I think it's societal hierarchy, right to comfort, the idea of authority and control and compliance with that authority and control, that is so deeply embedded in our society that it's insane. And it's usually absolutely not beneficial to autistics, right? And, so there's a lot going on here, but I think this is another one of those big stances for me where, as a parent, or for me as a clinician even, right? I always made a point of teaching my students that when they receive this kind of rejection, when they have these kind of experiences, yes, they suck. Number one, first step, validate. Yeah, that's crappy. I hate that happened to you. Normalize it. It happens to a lot of my autistic students, my autistic friends. It happened to me as a kid. Shoot, a lot, right? And then also that like, it's not their fault. It's not his failure. He didn't fail at he didn't suddenly become a different kid and no longer is good enough to be at farm camp. The staff changed. So the new people are the people he can't trust. The new people are the ones who had the issues with him, right? And like, that's not his fault, because a lot of people will not understand him and will not put in the effort to understand him. And that sucks, but that's part of being in a marginalized group. That's part of marginalization. But I agree that it sucks that they try so hard and then like they can never actually get anywhere. Like the standards just keep getting higher and then they can never reach the standard. Yeah, that's the social model of disability. That's what that is right there. Societal standards are too high. You can never really reach them. And if you do reach them, you can only stay however long you can stay up there until you completely burn out, because you will. Because society's not built for you, right? And people don't want to accommodate, et cetera, et cetera. And, I had a really smart high schooler, I think he was a senior, I believe, that year. And when they're in high school, when they go to their individualized education plan meeting, the IEP meeting, we like the high schoolers to be present because they can give us feedback and they're part of the team. Like, they're old enough. They should be there to advocate for themselves, right? And there was this student, though, who didn't want to come. He didn't want to come to his last IEP meeting. And the caseworker is actually a very good friend of mine now, too, who, like, she was on board with his idea, too, because she was like, oh, that's such a shame. You should come. Do. And so she went to talk to him and he was like, yeah, I keep going to these meetings and they say, if you just try a little harder, right? Like, you put in great effort, now just try a little bit more and you can get to XYZ level or whatever. And he's like, but I can't try anymore. I'm trying literally as hard as I can. I can't do it anymore. I can't do more. I don't want to hear about put in more effort or try harder because I can't. I'm doing as hard as I can. I'm trying as hard as I can. I'm doing as much effort as I can. And I was like, you know what? Valid that he doesn't want to be there to hear that. I think that's 100% valid. Because I think teachers kind of got into this mode at that school where they kept wanting to encourage. But if the encourage is always, you're always almost just there. You're never actually going to reach there, though. You just got to try a little bit harder to actually get to where we want you to be. It's like, yeah, hearing that for 15 years or so of your school career, yeah, doesn't feel good, Sometimes encouragement comes in the form of like, you're doing great and you're a super cool kid and I think you're super smart. You might need a little extra processing time and that's it, but you've got this. You're good. You know what I mean? Or like, you know what? You just need some extra breaks. This is kind of overwhelming and that's cool. You can go take a break. No big deal. Come on back when you're ready. You're doing fantastic, right? These kids never hear that sort of stuff, and they need to hear that sort of stuff. And also, I want to encourage adults to remember that a lot of autistic kids, if you're talking about that autistic kid as if they're not there and they actually are within earshot, usually they understand what you're saying. They can hear you talk about if you feel ashamed of them or whatnot, and like, that gets internalized too. So like, as hard as it is to watch what you say around kids, I hope that a lot of parents know, like, to just, they're valid thoughts, valid feelings to share with like professionals and therapists who can help you work through it, or close friends who can help you work through the grief. But I'm ashamed of society, for one. I would not be ashamed of this child at all. Sounds like a cool kid. I'm ashamed of society, and I'm ashamed of the fact that people are so into the idea of compliance and authority and control that they will ruin a favorite place for an autistic kid just because the autistic kid can't comply with everything all the time. That upsets me. Anyway, thanks for listening to my little brief rant here on this. What do you guys think? Write in a comment below if you have any thoughts. Do you agree, disagree? If you disagree, please try to do it constructively so we can stay safe over here. And if you want me to do a bigger video breakdown on like compliance and society and how I think it contributes to these this behavioral tokens, reinforcement, and like rejection and stuff, I would be happy to do so. Just drop a comment below. Let me know. And if you agree with some of what I'm saying, consider subscribing to the channel to help it grow. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up and like, because that'll help the algorithm know to send it out to more people. And yeah, thank you for those who are already here. Love you guys. Love reading your comments. And yeah, in the interest of keeping our community safe and using our weirdness powers for more connection, I wish for us all to keep it weird. And until next time, guys, bye.